sympathize with her and give her a big hug and figure out what's wrong and just show them some love and care.
Thank you, sir. Now, wasn't that interesting to hear, dear friends? Remember, it is okay to feel sad sometimes. I'm sure a lot of children and parents have learned a lot today. Isn't that right, Wakachi? Thank you for watching today, dear friends. Until next time, goodbye!
In the news tonight, City of Windhoek secures 155 million Namibian dollar loan for new power substation to avoid load shedding.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Good evening and welcome to this Monday evening's edition of News on One. Here are the headlines. Over 600 grade 10 learners without placement in Omusati region. 160 people needed to donate blood daily. City police to go after fast and furious drivers. A hairdresser becomes a successful farmer, and Business on One, Comments Corner, Sports and the Weather. First up, about 600 grade 10 learners in the Omusati region are sitting without placement as the majority of the secondary schools have no available space. The Trade Union Congress of Namibia's Secretary General Mahongora Kavihuha described the situation as unfortunate and a sign of the regional directorates failing to plan ahead.
An aggrieved parent, Petrus Wever, told News on One that up to date, his child is sitting at home without placement, adding that the delay from the regional office is very frustrating.
The issue is that currently, as we are talking now, in the region of Omusati region, we have about 600 learners who are not yet placed for grade 10. These are the learners that wrote grade 9 last year. As we are talking now, these learners are still seated at home, waiting for them to be placed to these secondary schools. But now, as a parents, because the time is going, we cannot wait. Because when you're into the region, they're telling us we must wait for them to finalize that second list. But because now the issue is that all the other schools now, the secondary schools, especially the ones with hostels, are full apparently to capacity. So they're telling us that they can only place these kids mostly to schools such as Erikitawe, Jonipajan. These are the schools that were just recently added the grade 10 and 11, and when they don't have hostels, the kids are just coming from the location and stuff. When we approach the directorate, because usually there is a division in the directorate called the Division of Planning, is the one that deals directly with a placement of learners to different schools. But now this specific department, which is entitled to this duty, it's saying that it's no more in their hands. They are no more the ones that are placing these learners to different schools. Because now the director is using a different committee that he himself set up, and he excluded this Department of Planning. And that's also what caused now a lot of chaos now for some of the learners not to get places. Because usually this is the department that it's their duty to do it, but now them themselves are not involved. It's now being done by some senior education officers.
Trade Union Congress of Namibia's Secretary General Mahongora Kavihuha stated that this demonstrates how incompetent the ministry officials are in terms of planning ahead.
The issue here is that the principals and the teachers, they plan on what is available. Someone else plan or supposed to plan for expansion because the population is increasing. The numbers of the kids that were born in 2022 will not be the same numbers of the kids that will be born in 2023. So already the Ministry of Education should know that how many kids were born in 2022 to know that in 7 years I need these numbers of spaces. You understand? And there is a statistics in terms of progressions. You can take the average of 10 years, for argument's sake, to know that on average, how much space should I have been preparing for each grade in terms of retentions, in terms of progressions, in terms of many other aspects. But the office that should monitor this one and ensure that you plan accordingly to know that, yes, I have 30,000 grade zeros spaces now. Of course, in the next year, I will not have 30. I will need 35,000. So what does that mean? I must build extra 5,000 classrooms. So that person who has to build that space is the one that is lagging. So now, the teachers and school principals are just implementers. The providers are the ones that are sitting here in the offices in the window. And to us, those are the people that they need to be held accountable in order to respond promptly to the needs in the education sector.
Multiple attempts to contact the Omusati Education Regional Director Benny Asep for a comment proved futile.
Have fun in the sun this summer with Fabio Farms Desert Sun Range. Formulated to protect you from harmful UVA and UVB rays, Fabio Farms Desert Sun Range is laboratory tested. Available as a sun protection cream and spray, the Desert Sun Range also contains jojoba oil, a natural sunscreen perfect for protecting children, adults, and babies from sunburn and skin cancer. With Fabio Farms Desert Sun Range, you can have a fantastic summer. Available at leading supermarkets and pharmacies countrywide. Remember, sunscreen should always be reapplied every 2 hours or after swimming, drying off, or sweating.
In order for the blood transfusion services of Namibia to meet the demand for blood for all the hospitals across the country, they need at least 160 blood donations every day.
NAMBTS spokesperson Tidu Shivute stated that the recent blood shortage occurred because they were unable to receive the expected blood donations of at least 160 blood donors per day. Shivute said the country only received over 26,000 blood donations annually.
We've seen a gradual improvement over the past week after the recent shortages that were experienced across hospitals in the country. We'd really like to thank all blood donors who've donated over the last 2 weeks, especially after the turn of the new year, to assist us in helping ensure that there is a sufficient supply for all patients who require blood and blood transfusions throughout the country. I think I should just emphasize that in order for the blood transfusion service to meet the demand for all hospitals and medical centers around the country, we need at least 160 blood donations each and every day. So that means 160 individuals donating each and every day. So that's where that's primarily what led to the recent shortages, because we were unable to meet those set expectations for a consistent period of at least 2 weeks, which led to a drop in our reserves and a subsequent shortage.
Shivute, who shared his word of gratitude to those who had previously donated blood, urged potential blood donors to come forth and donate blood to ensure that lives are saved.
I really just want to thank all blood donors around the country, each and every individual who really donates blood on a regular basis to help ensure that the lives of so many patients, thousands of patients, are saved each and every year. It's only through your donations that we are able to assist these patients, and there are so many individuals actually who receive blood on a daily basis within our hospitals. And yeah, I really just want to encourage all potential blood donors, each and every individual also that meets the criteria that hasn't begun doing so, to also approach our office if you'd like to host a blood donation drive at your corporate institution or your school or your town or whatever. We are more than open to that.
Shivute said the service will work tirelessly to host more blood donation drives across the country to ensure that more people donate blood.
Gone are the days when Windhoek City Police traffic officers would hide behind bushes to identify traffic offenders. Abraham Kanime, the chief of the city police, explained during an operation that commenced on Friday last week that lawbreakers will be identified through the use of cameras and brought to book. The year-long operation will focus on 3 areas, including crime prevention, traffic law enforcement and bylaws.
Can you see the cross there? Just check there's a cross. Just check there's a red cross there. You see? Just check. Can you see? This Amarok, this white one. Can you see? There's a video. And here is your speed. 76 km per hour. You're only supposed to drive 60 or less than 60.
So I'm not saying you are guilty. No, I'm not saying you are guilty. If you find yourself guilty, you are going to pay that amount. Yes, but if you feel like you are not guilty of that one, you can go to court and present.
The camera is there, so I have to do it.
Yeah, no, it's...
Those who skip red traffic lights and those who speed in the suburbs are warned to refrain from doing so. The chief of the city police, Abraham Kanime, who took part in the operations held over the weekend in the capital, said the city police has installed the latest high-tech equipment around the city to help spot the traffic offenders and criminals.
We have our equipments even on the other side of the street, where we measure the speed. And where we are, it's under the bridge, Hosea Kutako and David Hosea Miroro. This portion toward the cemetery is an accident-prone area, mainly because of the speed. And I'm warning everybody traveling in this street that as from now on you'll expect speed cameras. We have 2 types. One is that is meant by the officer, then you will be stopped. But we have also the other one that is on its own, supported by speed measuring system, where you can even read your speed yourself. But remember, there is also a camera standing on its own, taking your speed. Your ticket will follow you.
Senior Superintendent Adam Asab, who is responsible for the City Police Traffic Management Unit, highlighted the main components of the traffic equipment used to track the speed of vehicles around the city.
We are detecting speed and we immediately intervene. Drivers are being stopped and enforcement ensues. Of course, there are procedures to be followed. Now, speed reference trailer as well as our normal speed law enforcement instruments work over a range of 500 meters. That's the standard set for urban areas. However, it is able to measure speed over 1,500 meters, roughly 1.5 kilometers. That's a distance these instruments are able to capture speed. But we limit it to 500 meters, seeing that there's a lot of traffic moving and you want to zoom in, on that vehicle. And the equipment we are using is state of the art. It's basically latest on the market, because it's also capturing at the same time the image as well as of the vehicle, as well as the speed, the range, how far away from the instrument was the vehicle, all those dimensions that are important for eventually evidence that you need to present eventually at the court.
Those who were caught transgressing the law last Friday received fines of between 2,500 to 4,000. Kanime further warned traffic users who do not abide by traffic laws that they will be caught and reprimanded, as the aim is to have a zero rate of traffic offences in the Namibian capital.
A 30-year-old farmer based at Itunda in the Omusati region, Aina Imalwa, also known as Aina the farmer, stated that before venturing into farming about 3 years ago, she never knew that there were other young farmers in Namibia. Imalwa said that as a small-scale crop farmer, she aspires to one day be a commercial farmer and to see local youth treat farming as a lucrative business.
Imalwa, who was born in Oshakati in the Oshana region, was raised by her grandmother and became a hairdresser after matriculating because there were no funds for tertiary studies. Imalwa calls this period of her life the hustle. Imalwa shared that her grandmother passed on in 2012, at which point life became hard, so she opened a mobile salon to support herself. During this time, she came across an advertisement by AgriBizDev calling on youth to be trained in farming. Imalwa said that she applied out of curiosity.
2015, I came to across the advertisement that AgriBizDev is an organization that's been running all the green scheme in Namibia. So they advertised like they were looking for the youth that wanted to be trained to become farmers. I can still not remember how was the advertisement because I just applied for the sake of applying. I didn't know what it was really. We went to do crop farming training in Mashere Irrigation Training Center. It's in Kavango region. I started now falling in love with farming. We got a chance of visiting the green scheme in Kavango region, where I found, together with my other young farmers, we found the young farmers there. Because in my whole life, I didn't know there were young farmers in Namibia.
Imalwa added that Namibian youth are of the misconception that farming is only for the illiterate, for men, and for the elderly, which is the reason why the country underproduces sufficient food to feed the nation.
Everyone can be a farmer. So you only need to have passion into farming and to understand what farming is. So get inspired by follow young farmers. You will get inspired. That's what keeps me going, because I follow young farmers in different countries, and so that's what fueled me up each and every day.
Imalwa said she roped her two younger brothers into the farming business, and they are now her partner and farm manager. Together they have planted tomatoes, cabbage, onions, mangoes, apples, spinach, and a number of other crop varieties.
Since now I own a 3-hectare field, I started working with my young brother. So he is a very hardworking boy, though at first it was not easy, making somebody to understand what farming is and to make them fall in love with something that they also don't know. It wasn't that really easy, but now he is the stage where I am now. So I made him my manager, and I'm so grateful to have a very strong brother that we are working together and we understanding each other, which is so well. And now I added my other young brother again, so now we will be working, the three of us.
Imalwa said youth should let go of the fear of being seen working in the dirt and chasing the office life, because farming creates employment and makes you your own boss at the same time.
I run my farming as a business. It's actually a business. So it's a win and a loss down, but I never think of quitting. I kept my head up because I know that one of the good days I'm going to make it, and still I'm just going to make it.
Imalwa explained that she has no regrets taking up farming and wishes to not only upscale her farming business, but to be an inspiration to other young people to participate in the joys of farming.
Now let's have a look at some business news. Finland-based marine and energy technology company called Wärtsilä, during its recent visit to Namibia, indicated that it is planning to cooperate on the use of Namibia's solar and wind natural resources, as the country has excellent conditions for both these renewable energies.
Executive Vice President at Wärtsilä Corporation said the company is also developing engines that can make use of Namibia's green hydrogen, adding that there are a lot of possibilities for Namibia to increase its power production and become an energy hub for the region.
Namibia has excellent conditions for renewables, both solar and wind. You also have excellent possibilities to extend gas exploration for gas and usage of gas, which is also needed in the energy transformation. Both renewables and gas is needed. Later, that gas will be turned to be renewable gases and green hydrogen. So that is what we are very much interested in, how we can contribute to that. Also, because we are developing engines which can use 100% hydrogen. We can now already use 25% blends and the rest gas. So we can contribute to places which are rich in respect of green hydrogen. We are in marine technologies, we are in energy technologies. So when we talk about energy, we have produced a lot of technologies which have been installed in different countries. We have installed about 70 gigawatts of power plants in the world. In Africa, we have installed 7 gigawatts for our customers. So this is engine-based power plants, and the characteristics are that they are very flexible, meaning that you can start them up quickly, you can stop them quickly, you can have a modular structure, you have different engine types and amounts of engines, and you can increase the power size when you invest more.
On possible cooperation with the Namibian government on renewable energy, the company's executive vice president noted that the Wärtsilä Corporation will be a part of the business community here in Namibia and avail the technology that is needed, build up and transfer skills.
What we normally do when there is a project, we bring our technology and we can build a power plant, for example. When building a power plant, we normally use as much local suppliers and partners as possible. So part of that will be built with local help. Then, when that is ready and taken into use, then we want, and our customers typically also want us to maintain or operate, we find a way which is best for our customer, meaning that we will be in the country with the customer, we will build up skills, we will transfer skills to the customer, and we are basically a part of the local business community in that moment.
The executive vice president is of the belief that renewable energy will have a strong growth. However, renewable transition will take long, adding that Namibia has good circumstances for both solar and wind energy.
That's all the business news we had for you. Please stay tuned for Comments Corner.
Join Script every weekday from 2 to 6 p.m. on the nation's favorite radio station, playing the best hip-hop, urban, Afro, and R&B on 99 FM.
99 FM.
With the belief that every person should have access to quality healthcare services at an affordable price, Medical Director and General Practitioner at the Medicity Medical Practice, Dr. Melago Mukwaso, stated that through a new product called the Medicity Loyalty Care Program, which is a benefit service only offered at their practice for low-income households and those who are unemployed. Matthias described this as a good idea. Jack wants a similar approach by a local dentist. Elaine praised the doctor for the initiative. Precious wishes more blessings for Dr. Melago Mukwaso. That's all the comments we have for you. Please don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms. Welcome back. And in sports news, with the Dapmarine Premiership Football League resuming this coming Saturday, various clubs across the country have collaborated over the weekend by playing friendly matches in preparation for the league. The Katutura Giants and league leaders African Stars have taken the lead to give more of their players some game time to get the team in shape before the Premiership resumes.
High-flying head coach of African Stars, Mervyn Becerra, said the aim of the friendlies was to hone in some tactics and improvements he wants to implement for the second half of the league.
Whatever we do at practice, the game is the best teacher. It reflects the real image, even though the practice matches is not as the same as the competition matches, but it comes close. So, this is where you see whether the cohesion is back again. As you know that we were probably 3-4 weeks break. So the speed awareness, the game understanding, the movement between the lines. Is it pair, the structure, or we still need to do something? But so far so good. I think our objective is very clear from the onset. We have tried to accumulate a squad that will challenge Africa, because I think it's high time that Namibian clubs start testing themselves in Africa, because a Champions League game itself, I experienced it myself in Uganda against KCC. The experience that comes out of such a match, it's vast. Not only to the players, not only to the technical team, but also to the team as a whole. One will also extend a word of gratitude to UNAM and Tura Magic, who have availed themselves, and I can only wish them all the best.
Sport on One spoke to assistant coach of the Clever Boys, Unam Football Club, Ronnie Canelelo, and stand-in coach for Tura Magic, Roy Hambira, who all answered to the call of African Stars for the friendly tournament.
Obviously, it's an opportunity to look at some of the players that couldn't get game time, during the league, and we introduced a new direction of play with a new game model. Not too many alterations, but just changing the dynamics a little bit to see whether some of the players will come to the party.
There's just one or two things that really need to go back to the training ground and really work on them. Some of them, especially when it comes to defending corners and all that. But most of them, 90% of the mistakes, we really did rectify. The boys did work hard this week at training, I must say. So it was just a matter of reminding them and telling them what they really need to do for the second game. So there's not really much work when we go from Monday to Friday. It's just to make sure that they are actually fit.
Meanwhile, the Garden Town Kings Okanya Football Club also prepared themselves by playing 2 friendly matches against Tigers and Spoilers over the weekend.
That's all the sports news we have for you. Please stay tuned for tomorrow's weather forecast.